Hey yo guys, what's up and welcome back to Toe Tags Metal Reviews, and today we're getting our final review of We Are Not Your Kind by Slipknot. We just spent the entire week listening to this album non-stop. Man, this album is something. There is so much I could talk about right now. Every song has so much stuff. I got 2 pages of notes, which is way more notes than I've ever had for an album review. Don't even know where to start, to be honest. I'm just gonna pick something. Let's start with Nero Forte, which is one of my favorite songs on the album. This is a song we didn't give much love to on the first impressions. Not that we didn't like it, we just didn't spend much time on it. So the song title is in Italian. It translates to Strong Black. It's in drop B, which is a standard Slipknot tuning. They do drop A, drop B, a few other things here and there, but mainly they do drop B, drop A. This one's in B. The chorus is super catchy. You got a nice melody. You got a cool contrast between the high voice and the angrier toned, fast lyrics. I was counting 8 notes vocals on top of quarter note rhythm, which was a nice contrast. The beginning of the bridge reminded me a bit of The Blister Exists with the marching drum beat. Pretty cool, nice little throwback thing. One interesting thing I noticed with the chorus, the line where he says, too much animosity, nobody does it better than the enemy. The second time he says that, on the second chorus, he actually comes in a half beat early and just prolongs the note, which I think is pretty cool that he did that on the second the second chorus. Most times when a band changes up a chorus, they do it on the last chorus. He did it on the second one, which is kind of unique. Another thing to note about this song that I thought was pretty creative and clever is the way the song structure goes is they shout the first word of the line and then they sing the line. They shout the first word of the line, they sing the line. On the last verse, the first word of each line actually spells its own sentence, which is, why did I not see your true face until it was too late? Don't know if you caught that or not.
I did not notice that. What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's actually sick.
It is sick. So that's the last verse. The first word of every line, if you spell those out, it spells its own sentence. Really, really cool, really creative, awesome stuff. Moving on from that, Spiders.
Oh man.
What a track this is, man. This is one of those tracks that the first time I heard it, I was like, I don't know about this. What is this? Dude, this track is something special, okay? For one, it was perfect transition from What's Next. It feels like it was just birthed out of What's Next. Great transition. He uses a clap snare. So by that I mean a clap sample with the snare combined. Now clap is something that's more commonly used in like hip hop or pop. It's supposed to encourage people to clap, right?
Yeah.
That's the point of it, right? So it's more of a poppy kind of crowd pleasing type of thing. But they use it in this song and it works well.
You also have to consider, like, with Slipknot's kind of general angle, they have a lot of different influences from different genres. Hip hop is definitely one of them, especially on this album. So,
yeah,
you know, it's only fitting for that kind of sample to be on this album and that song.
Exactly, and it fits in there very well. So this song has a lot of just weird noises and stuff going on. It sounds very disjunct, but it all gels very well, very nicely. There's a small section right before the solo where the notes are played backwards for like 1 bar. Be interesting to hear what those sound like forwards. Might do that later if I get some time to do some tinkering around with it. But the solo in this song is something that threw me off guard because it's very uneasy toned. It's very weird. It's got this weird vibrato effect on it. I'm 80% sure it's guitar, but it could be something else. It could be a Sid thing. It could be a Craig thing. But I'm pretty sure it's Jim just with like multiple pedals and a massive distortion.
It does sound like a guitar.
Yeah, it does. It sounds to me like almost like something you hear off Antichrist Superstar. Like I was getting some old school Marilyn Manson vibes from that.
I was getting similar vibes for a song like that as well. Like I see exactly where you're coming from.
So this song is very weird. It's actually in 7/4 time signature, which is odd already. And it sounds a bit off time because the clap snare actually happens on the 4, or maybe it's on the 3. I think it happens on the 3 and then on the end between 6 and 7. So it's like, it sounds...
Pretty sure it's on the downbeat of 3 and 7.
Yeah, it's 3 and if it's on the end, it's not on the 6 or it's on the 6 or the 7, it's the end between 6 and 7.
I'd have to hear it again to...
Trust me, I timed this many times. It's hard to catch, but when you time it, it hits on the end on the second one, which makes it sound very disjunct.
Yeah.
To me, and that's why I kept focusing on it. I'm like, that just doesn't sound right. And I started counting it, and it's just very creative.
And
it's just a really cool syncopated beat.
An even cooler thing that happens on this song, which is also syncopated, is after the first chorus, Jay does one of the coolest fucking things I've ever seen him do in any Slipknot song, where he starts playing a groove, and it starts on 1, but he's accenting 2. He's hitting the cymbal on 2. And that's the audio illusion, making people think that that is 1 when it's not. So it totally sounds like he's off or he's changing something, where he's exactly where he always was. And it just flows perfectly into the next verse because he never left 7. He never shifted anything. The only thing he did is just hit the cymbal on 2 every bar. It was so smart. And it caught me by surprise when we first heard it. I'm like, what is that? It took me a few minutes to look through it, and it's just so smart. It only happens that one time in the whole song as well. It's just that one moment.
Spiders is probably technically the most impressive song on the album for reasons like that, because it's technically well-rounded and it's very, very creative.
And Slipknot doesn't really do stuff like very technical rhythmically like that. Like with odd time signatures and stuff like that. It's not too common for this band, so that makes the song only more special that way.
Yeah, it makes it unique. The last song I really want to talk about before I'll let you take the floor primarily is Not Long for This World. This song became my number 1 track. I love this song. It is so freaking good. It's got this nice somber intro, builds up, percussion kicks into the first chorus. You got these amazing melodies in the chorus. Corey's cadence in the chorus is probably one of the highlights of this entire album for me. Just the way his voice just flows and fluctuates. I love it. It's got a perfect amount of reverb on the vocals, so it gives this full acoustic sound without sounding like echoey. Then you got the verses that tone back down to the somber and kind of grim. And then the second half of the song, the second half of the bridge mainly, kind of gave me some reminiscent feelings of Sick. You can't kill me cause I'm already.
Okay, yeah.
That part, it's got that same sort of bouncy kind of rhythm to it. Really, really cool. Sid's scratching at the end, like towards the end before like the main outro part, it's just badass. He's just going ham and I fucking love it. And then the outro, which is like these UFO alien noises that are designed to like trip people out. It's got this ambient siren effect, which is actually something very similar to or the same as something that happens in Insert Coin, which is the intro track. It's just such a well-rounded song. It sounds so good. It's got a nice length to it. It's just structured so perfectly. Not Long for This World is a song that I do not see anybody giving any love to, and I'm kind of disappointed at that because it is probably my number 1 track on the album at this point.
Well, it was certainly a little bit of a surprise to me that that one became your number 1 track, but I will say that track is fucking amazing. Like, for a little bit of time throughout the week, I would listen to the track, and I kept forgetting about it, and I don't know why, because the intro has this really cool guitar effect, and I love that intro every single time it happens. But once it started to just get more in the system for my mind, I just started to love this song every time I heard it, and I found that a lot with practically every track on the album. One I want to talk about, though, is My Pain. Now, we slammed this track last week, saying it sounds like an interlude that's only 7 minutes long, whatever, stupid track. Now, for a while, I did not give a shit about this song. Like, it would come on, whatever, even sometimes I'd skip it, but then I started to figure, like, you know what, this song plays a part in the album experience. The song is unsettling, and a song like this one is not unfamiliar for Slipknot. They've done weird stuff. They've done Danger Keep Away. They've done Prosthetics, Tattered and Torn. Iowa, like, whatever, Gehenna, or Gehenna, I don't even know how you want to pronounce that one.
Yep.
Songs like that. So it's not like My Pain is unusual for them.
Right.
And I love the intro, and I love the outro. The bulk of it, I got to the point where I didn't mind it. I'm like, you know what? I can accept it. I don't love it, but I don't actively dislike it like I did when we listened to it for the first time.
Yeah.
Now, another song that I'm totally in love with is A Liar's Funeral.
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit. This song is one of the most powerful Slipknot songs I've ever heard, ever. and just the way that he screams liar, and just the way that entire song goes and the way that it builds up, I would say is comparable to Gently.
Yes.
Because it starts out very somber, very like small and ambient, and then grows into a fucking monster.
I actually have that in my notes too. It's very, very reminiscent of Gently.
And just the way that his voice sounds when he's screaming in this song, you feel so much pain. Like, it hurt me to listen to this song. I'm not joking. There were times where this song came on and I'm thinking, I don't know if I currently have the emotional capacity to really put this one on.
Yeah.
It's that good. Like, wow.
And it's deep too lyrically. Like, the lyrics are about like betrayal or suicide, self-loathing, like a lot of really deep, you know, rooted kind of emotions, and they're just expelled in this song.
And I noticed a lot of the songs are kind of about, you know, betrayal or just kind of fight, like, I guess a lot of distrust between people. And I'm pretty sure I read Corey Taylor saying, you know, around this time he broke up in a relationship, so I can tell a lot of that pain went into this album. And you know, when it's raw pain that goes into an album, magic is created, and we've seen it with Slipknot multiple times.
Right.
Another thing I want to mention is just every song in this album that really has a sharp edge to it and is really crazy amped me the fuck up every single time it would come on.
Yep.
Soulwave Earth, Unsainted, Red Flag, Nero Forte,
Birth of the Cruel.
Birth the Cruel, Orphan, literally all of these songs, I just going crazy every time they come on.
Yeah.
And everything just flows so well together. I think What's Next is an amazing interlude.
Yeah.
It's creepy, it's sad, but it's also calming. It does so many things all at once. It's not too long, and as you mentioned, it goes perfectly into Spiders.
I find it just to be, it's like a combination of uncomfortable noises. I find that to be a continuous theme amongst this album.
Yeah.
Where they're just putting, like, I think they're doing it on purpose to cause an uneasy feeling to the listener. Because when you're listening to it, it sounds bad, but it's good. It's like a weird, it's a weird duality thing that just works when it sounds like it shouldn't work.
Yeah, the album, like, it does crazy shit. It's still Slipknot, but it's also just making you feel so uncomfortable at the same time. It's incredible.
Yeah, and a testament to that is the intro track, Insert Coin, because that track is a combination of uncomfortable noises, because you got this weird pulsating rhythm with this howling melody that sounds like some sort of distorted clarinet or something, and you know, it kind of just sets the whole album up very nicely, because it's this weird, awkward presence that's kind of mirrored throughout the whole album. And it's also a great bookend, because you got the line in there, I'm counting all the killers, which is also in the last song, Soulwave Firth, and that's something we talk about a lot on this channel, where if the first track has something that's referenced in the last track, you got these bookends that just ties the whole album together in a nice tight package.
Yep.
It's fucking perfect.
I do remember a while ago reading that, I want to say Clown said this, or maybe Corey said this, that with this album, they really wanted to make an experience throughout the entire album. And now that it's out and having listened to it for a week, I see exactly where they're coming from.
Nailed it.
They nailed it. Like, from front to back, this album is an experience. You can shuffle it, it works, but I feel like putting it on from front to back is the best experience you can get with the album.
Yeah, so let's get the ratings then.
Alright, well, I think it's pretty clear for me, but this is a toe tag album because holy shit, it blew my mind multiple times throughout the entire week and I cannot get enough of it. Slipknot nailed this one.
Yeah, it gets my toe tag too. This is such a well-rounded album. It's so magical in its presentation. It's so creative in its art. It just has everything. It has the soft stuff, it has the heavy stuff, it has thought-provoking, emotional, the rhythms, the riffs, the scratching, the samples. Everything about this album is fucking phenomenal. I'm telling you, there's nothing I don't like about it, and it's the best album I've heard all year so far.
Yeah,
I gotta say, this is at top spot for me right now.
Yeah, insane album, guys. Like, wow.
Yeah, to me this solidifies why Slipknot is my favorite band and why they're the top metal band in the world. To be honest, this is why, because they put out quality content like this.
Exactly. Like, phenomenal album. Anyway, guys, that's all we got for you today. Remember to like the video if you like it, comment, tell us below if you love the album as much as we did, because it is well deserving of 2 toe tags. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. I'm TV Fish.
And I'm Vile Self.
And we are not your kind.